the draft and see which civilizations they banned and they get. Capoch hates Aztecs, guys. For some reason, he hates Aztecs. Every time I see Capoch playing, he bans Aztecs. That's why when he fought versus me and he didn't ban them, I immediately picked the Aztecs. I'm a terrible Aztec player. But if you know that a player doesn't want to play versus a civilization, that should say something about you. Also, ACCM also banned Lithuanians. I have the impression, guys, that Lithuanians are so overpowered for many maps. I feel like they can be very good on hybrid ones, and they can also be an option for Nomad. They can be great, like the best map on 4 lakes. So that's the second series we see someone banning Lithuanians. Both players start getting the best Arabia civilizations that are out there, Chinese and Mayans, which get prompted banned. Capoch then went for Britons, Vikings, Mongols, Byzantines, and Italians. I have to say that I believe that Capoch got Byzantines to play 4 lakes. I think that Byzantines can be a very good civ for 4 lakes as well, because in a 1v1, the fire galleys from Byzantine have extra attacking rate, which makes them stronger. So if he just goes for a strategy of contesting all the lakes, if there are multiple fights happening, Byzantines can win. So that's probably what he was thinking. Italians probably because he wants to play on water, and they can be great for Mediterranean. And also Mongols can also be good for Mediterranean, and they are also a flex pick. So this is probably the thinking process behind of Capoch civilizations. A civilization to play 4 lakes, aka cross, and another one to play Mediterranean. As for ACCM, he got Berbers, Burgundians, Persians, Huns, and Japanese. Japanese he can use as an hybrid and also use them to play either Mediterranean or 4 lakes. Persians can be used for Nomad, but I guess that if he wanted to play Nomad, he would even got a second civilization like Malians as well. Burgundians, maybe he wants to play a more closed map, such as Hideout. Those are my guesses, and let's go for the games. Game 1 starts, and we have here once again Huns playing on Arabia. Huns lost to Chinese, and now it seems that Huns might have to struggle versus Vikings. And that's what we got here, Vikings versus Huns, with Capoch operating our Viking boys. There's no secret behind the Viking gameplay on Arabia. Their eco is just too good. So what you want to do as Viking is to make a clear open with either a Drush or most likely men-at-arms, transition and play then with archers. Capoch went here with a forward view, so he was still thinking if he wants to drop an early barracks or a mill. He then decided to just go for the mill and a Drush instead of men-at-arms. So we're probably going to see men-at-arms for Capoch. He's now dropping the barracks, so maybe an early Drush instead of a men-at-arm bush. Nope. Men-at-arm. Population 21 on men-at-arms. He almost lost his cow, that was bad. He's now making the militias. He will be able to pressure his opponent, going for a second lumber camp. ACCM saw him. ACCM dropped the barracks, but he's not taking gold, and he's fully walling. So obviously, what ACCM is going to do here is to go for either scouts or archers. An archer range is dropped, he's getting the back gold. Capoch doesn't know, or does he know that there is an archer range here? He knows. He's trying to pressure. Dropped the archer range. He can now start making archers and skirmishers. And also farms if he wants to. Farms drop it now like a Capoch. Making a mix of archers and skirmishers. ACCM defending here. Dropping a blacksmith. Blacksmith for Capoch. Both players are going to have a significant amount of archers and skirmishers here to fight each other. By significant, I mean a minimum enough to at least do a small damage on enemy views. Uh-oh, big fight here. One view down. Points to ACCM. View down, points for Capoch. ACCM is still playing very open here. and he's getting constantly raided by the men-at-arms that are still alive, while Capoch is starting to wall. That's a very open game for both players. Capoch was very confident on his Arabia, on his open game skills here. Good defense by ACCM. Capoch now dropping the second archer range. He already has 13 farms. ACCM also has a great number of farms. But remember that Capoch, guys, is Vikings. So all those farms already benefit already from Wheelbarrow. Good evening, Dracozilla. Salve, Stark. Cadê o taco de beisebol? Tá guardado, cara. Tá guardado. Esse taco aí é pra bater em argentino só. There we go. Well, ACCM trying to pressure, but Capoch knows that he's going to reach Castle Age first. And faster. Capoch is on Castle Age. ACCM is forcing up on some skirmishers, so Capoch even added a stable. Uh-oh, losing some views. That's a bad approach. But he's being able at the same time to do a counterattack here with his archers. We see now a second TC by Capoch, which grants him access to another gold. He's playing with crossbows, also made a knight to help him chasing small skill numbers. ACCM making now a few knights, but Capoch has so many ranged units that those knights might not be so significant on the beginning. Yeah, if you have too much ranged units massed, guys, knights are not going to do much. They can only help you versus the skirmishers or do some crazy moves like this one that is blocking your enemy from pushing you with siege. Capoch is dropping now a 30 TC. This TC is very good because it helps protecting the main gold, and since he dropped the second TC before ACCM was even on Castle Age, he knows that he must be ahead on the eco. He also forced ACCM to build a tower, which slows down his boom. He's only now going to get tower to get stone, which will delay his TC once again. So different from Doubt macro here, he is actually going to have some issues. And thanks Katsuye for the follow. Uh-oh. Crossbows advancing, crossbows pressuring. Things doesn't look easy at all here, guys. ACCM tried to add another siege and it was blocked. He's trying to fight here with +2 knights, but as I said, once again, numbers here are key. Maybe finally ACCM might have enough numbers to get a good fight, but will this fight be enough? I don't know. Let's take a look. Capoch is also going for forward siege, and the fight was enough for ACCM, and now guys, ACCM is in a hurry, because his enemy is very ahead on the economy, so he needs to put some pressure on Capoch. But Capoch is just trying to counterattack and slows down ACCM even more. Messi now, crossbowman. Making a market. Oh, ACCM can even drop a defensive castle, so it's a very difficult task now for ACCM to keep pressuring a guy. Oh, the castle from Capoch was very aggressive here, not so defensive, but it still worked. His crossbowmen are dealing so much damage to the knights. Castle is going up. Capoch is also going up, or not? No, he's not. He's still playing on Castle Age. He probably used his resources to drop extra knights and upgrades for the crossbows. ACCM pressuring now with mangonels on the hill. Capoch tried to counter, made a knight. Oh, he was able to get the mangoes. Trying to pressure ACCM and deny him from booming. Capoch now has 40 Cs, even adding already more archer ranges, so he knows that he will suddenly have arbalests, and he's even adding a few berserkers. Crazy. Second castle by Capoch. How can ACCM answer that? Well, he's trying to by massing knights and attacking non-stop here with knights. It's good, not a bad approach. He was even able to catch up on the villager number. ACCM is also a great player regarding the boom. He already has 40 Cs, is fully boomed, is spamming lots of knights here. Dropping a defensive castle, that's a very good spot for defensive castle. But Capoch is on Imperial Age. So now we have Imperial Age versus castle for some time. ACCM going to Imperial Age. losing several views. Capoch drop attacking his enemy's TC. Ooh, his enemy castle, sorry. Ooh. Now that ACCM is on pure rage, Capoch will probably starts to add chieftain pikements here. He's making more castles, trying to attack, but ACCM knows that he still has the mobility, so he's using it to raid. Despite having less army, he's trying to do most damage as he can. Very good approach. But the castles are making his life a bit more difficult. Now he's having to make Roosters because he's a bit short on gold. I feel like ACCM should start making either Revicav Archers or Elite Skirmishers to help fighting versus this amount of pikemen and arbalests. He cannot deal with that only by Roosters. But he's doing some good damage on Capoch's eco. But Capoch is advancing and even killing TCs, which is even more damage. ACCM is raiding non-stop, but he's also losing buildings and losing a small amount of armies non-stop. And ACCM calls for the GG. No! Capoch calls, no, this is wrong. I think that Capoch just dropped it here and the game follow up and Capoch eventually won. This makes no sense. I feel Capoch lost too much villagers here, I know, but I don't think he would resign. What the fuck's happening? Stark, meu amigo, tu não curte o Capture Age? Cara, eu vou ser bem sincero, eu não sei nem usar isso aí não, mas eu tinha que instalar, né? Olha, Vini, você me deu uma puta ideia, cara. Puta merda, o Vini mandou a braba agora, eu tenho que instalar o Capture Age, cara. Caralho, Vini, verdade. Resign with 80 army? I think that he dropped it, guys. I don't think he resigned it. Let's see if we have a continuation for this game, like part 2 or something. What the fuck? No? I don't know what happened, guys. Feels like a drop. Yes, it seems like a drop, but there was no other record game here. Let me check the stats here. Let's go for AoE Nexus. We go for Vietnam. We go for the home of ACCM. We go for ACCM. We click on his profile. That's an eagle. We click on Unranked. We see here that ACCM played versus Capoch on Unranked. No, because we didn't click it. Let's click it. Unranked, Capoch, and there was another 4 minutes of this game, which we can download here on Capoch's point of view. We can open up. We can put here on the folder, rename so we can find it, Pendejo Drop, and then we can go there and watch. Easy. I want to see how it ended. I agree that it seems to be over. And there we go, Pendejo Drop, there we go, we found Pendejo Drop. So, this was the game. The thing here, guys, is that ACCM was doing several very good job with the ratings. He was getting big groups of villagers from Capoch. Look those views, they are all unprotected because Capoch didn't reinforce his walls. He has plenty of pikemen split all over the map to try to deny that, and he's losing several views while trying to advance. Ooh, now going for Berserkers, that makes it even harder to counter with Skirmishers. But only 80 views. So ACCM, guys, could still stand a chance here if he tried to develop. Runs now for Capoch. That increases the speed with which he kills his enemy's base. And ACCM's call for the GG, confirming that this is Capoch 1 in game number 1. Let's go for game number 2 to see what ACCM has prepared for us to see. Game number 2 is Serengeti. Você vai dormir, baby? And there we have here Berbers versus Britons. Guys, this is a very interesting discussion that we can have here. I see a lot of players. Taro start with this trend, and now we also have Capoch, and they are actually going for Berbers on this map. Why? Well, because it's easier to wall, so you can probably survive during Feudal Age versus pretty much any civ, and it's also good for Berbers to play during Castle Age, because once you are in Castle Age, you are actually have to develop to the size to go outside, so you might need a big Castle Age army, and what better civ to mass a big army of knights than I don't know, Berbers, which can have cheaper knights. Also, there are plenty of small extra goats, which means that if you hold the map control, you can also hold control of those goats and keep making like cavaliers forever. But Capoch went for the Britons, so that's a different approach. He plans to use archer civs here. Maybe he wants to play in the same way he played in the first one. Quem ganhou o jogo do Pendejo Drop? Dependerro, Colono. He won. Tava muito na mão do cara pra ele perder, né? Não dava não. Tinha que ter entregado demais ali. We have a pre-mute rush here by Capoch versus ACCM walling and going for the gold. So we might see here archers, defensive archers for ACCM. Second lumber camp by Capoch. Beautiful lumber camp in the middle of the forest. He's walling. So surely he won't suffer so much to defend himself, especially since his enemy is doesn't seem to be going for scout ratings, but only for archers. He's making the archer range. ACCM made the archer range. Archers are the best counter to early man-at-arms, so that's why he did it. But now ACCM puts himself in a very difficult situation, in my opinion, because he will have to play versus Britons in a Feudal Age archer war. It doesn't feel like a good idea to me. I guess that ACCM should just complete his walls, switch to skirmishers and defend with them. But well, what do I know, right? Capoch is coming here with a small group to raid. Good raiding, kill one veal. Killed a skirmisher. Killed another one. He still saved his man-at-arms to pressure his enemy. That's the same thing as the first game, guys. Same story. Same story of game number 1. Capoch is ahead. About to click up. Click it up to castle. Ha! He's trying to raid and he's doing some good jobs raiding, but ACCM survived it and he's about to reach Castle Age and he will go for knights. Archers for the Britons. A stable here for the Britons as well. A stable is needed because else his enemy could just play with elite skirmishers. Guys, that's something that I feel like more players should learn by top players. If you have an archer civ and your opponent is going for skirmishers, it's a good idea to add a stable just to make a few knights. You can block him from playing with full elite skirmishers and things like that. Are you going to play today? No, I will not. I'm very tired. I'm being honest with you guys. I'm very tired. I worked a lot yesterday. I worked a lot today. My head is not good for playing. I probably won't extend the chance, but I still had some free time, so I decided to make this stream and share with you guys my perspective on Collection Cup games. Learn some new strategies, then some new meta, see some great plays, see Viper falling from his chair, and so on. Capoch messing out Crossbowman, booming 3TCs. Same old story from the previous game versus Hans. Trying to raid with knights. ACCM defending himself. Yeah, this game looks good for Capoch because of the economy, but don't forget, guys, that this is still a very open map. Third archer range here for Capoch. 40C. Yeah, this doesn't look like an ACCM game, unless he's able to make some big plays. Ooh. ACCM tries to kill Capoch, but those archers, guys, are so numerous that he won't be able to do so. There comes Capoch to drop a forward castle. He bringing like way too much views to do it. That was a very safe castle, like 20 views doing it. Still getting some fights with massed archers. Ugly thing for ACCM, guys. Ugly, ugly thing. Too much archers, a full castle age play, and Capoch eventually wins the game once again. 2-0 with 2 archer ships. What a series Pendejo was doing, eh? Playing very good. Very solid series here. Game number 3, we had, once again, ACCM trying to do his things. Stark against the lead skirmisher. Do you think it's better to add knight and not siege? Well, Leo Valiant, the knights are more flexible. One, they are a bit cheaper, so if your enemy has small numbers of skirmisher, like a group of 10 elite skirmishers, with like 2 knights you can totally deal with that, which is good. If you actually go for... And you also have the mobility, you know. You also have the mobility of the knights. You can break a palisade and raid the enemy. I think it's a more aggressive approach. I believe that siege can be good if you are defending from a big number of skirmishers, like when you know that your enemy is going to play with like 2 ranges and skirmishers, which doesn't happen so often. Usually players just try to keep like 1 range skirmishers and transition to knights. And of course, if you go for the knights, you can still have all the mobility, and it adds more layers to decision making. But if you have a huge advantage with the crossbows, and if you want to drop a forward siege workshop, well, you can even put more pressure than with knights, so still a very valid option. There we go. Here we have Valley, and Capoch is playing with Mongols versus his enemy ACCM, who's now playing with Burgundians. Guys, ACCM is going for the full cavalry approach here. It's the 3rd game he plays with a cav civ. I can understand Capoch's reasoning here on Valley. If he wins the map control, he can send villagers to the middle here and abuse out of those zebras. That's probably his idea. As for ACCM, he's probably thinking that, well, Valley is a map where my enemy is distant from myself, so I can properly wall, do a safe feudal wage, and play good with a... Oh! Look at these guys. Capoch tried to sneak a villager on ACCM Zico. Oh, no, that's not how you do it. He haven't learned. Well, that was still a good attempt. It was still a very good attempt. If he managed to do that, he could probably win the game. There we go. ACCM just walled, guys. Now dropping an archer range, a defensive one. He'll probably just defend with some skirmishers. Yeah, that's probably it. It will probably be a small skirmisher defense because right now he's already dropping farms and he probably has the second wood up, so ACCM Eco might be sick at this point. Capoch is not using the middle resources, he's not confident enough to do that. I thought that this would be part of his strategy to be already using the zebras, but I guess I was wrong. ACCM just defending slowly. This will probably allow him to reach a safe castle age time and go full cavaliers if he wants to. He's trying to pressure with a mix of skirmisher. He even, guys, started to add archers and spearmen to his composition because full skirmisher can be easily countered by scouts. Capoch seems to be overreacting, even did like 3 scouts, but ACCM is already going up to castle age as Burgundians, so his eco must be ahead. It's quite a meta to ignore the middle these days. Feels really weird when you are Mongol stuff. Exactly, Bielo. I thought that what Capoch was going to do here as Mongol was exactly break the meta and go for a full aggressive strategy on feudal age that allowed him to control the middle. I know that everyone is ignoring the middle. It makes sense. It's unsafe to do it. But I truly felt that he would try to do so. I have to tell you guys a story. I did a different strategy on this map once. I was playing a tournament. I don't recall which one it was. And I was playing versus some guy from Taiwan, I think. Taiwan. Is it Taiwan? I think it's Taiwan. I'm not sure, guys, now. Anyway, I know that I got Malay. I was defending myself. And once I was on Castle Age, I started making docks here on these small lakes. I upgraded the harbor technology and suddenly I had a mined camp here. So whenever I was losing a fight, I would run back to the middle and I would have those docks firing here. But I just did it in all the pounds, not allowing my enemy to move towards the middle. It was nice. More like a meme strat because I was only able to do that since I was ahead. Well, ACCM is going for cavaliers, Capoch is defending, going for knights, and guys, I have to say, this is the one of the worst cases that for Mongol players. If you are a Mongol player and you are actually forced to keep playing here on Castle Age versus a civilization that wants to keep playing on Castle, like the Burgundians, you are just not going to achieve your power spike, which are the mango dice, and as long as this battle goes, the more Mongols you have to expand their gold here. And well, since he's versus Burgundian, he might essentially get outboomed by it. It's bad. ACCM tried to finish the game, was way too quick on that. Way too quick. Four stables for ACCM. As I said, this is bad, guys, because if the Mongols keeps being forced to just make camels, this might not sustain itself. ACCM coming forward with a view, dropping a very forward castle here, making a big trade. Cavaliers versus camels. Eventually, the camels cannot withstand that. Yeah, it's very difficult. The Mongols at some time, guys, have to think about starting to collect stone and transitioning to mango dice. So yeah, it made no sense, the Mongol pick here. The Mongol pick made no sense, honestly. GG. I think that this was mostly a pick issue here. Now we go for game number 4, which I guessed right. It's 4 lakes, and this is Byzantines for Capoch versus ACCM playing here with the Persians. Second time we see Persians. I think that Persians have both Persians and Byzantines might go for the same approach, trying to conquer the lakes. And once they are done with that, they both still have good knights for the Persians, good cheaper camels for the Byzantines, good archers for the Byzantines as well. They can go for a full crossbowman and halberdier player later on, arbalest and halves, or anyway, Byzantines are a very flexible civ. Their only issue is regarding the eco, but in a map where they plan to get control over more lakes, eco won't be an issue, right? Interesting. New patch released a few minutes ago. Yo, I need to make a review on that. Thanks for sharing. I guess I will be forced to make an analysis on that. All right. Capoch going for the fishing ship. Trying to wall. Guys, look at this. ACCM is sneaking a view. Oh my god, no man, don't do that. You might just get Capoch traumatized. But there's a thing that ACCM is not counting on. Byzantines have free town watch. Byzantines, free town watch. What is town watch? One of the most useful technologies for open maps, which adds by 4 the line of sight of all of your buildings. So let's take a look on this dock. If the line of sight of this dock goes until here, if you add 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles, anything that is on this spot will be seen. So the spot where ACCM wants to make his dock will be spotted by Capoch once he is on feudal age. Capoch tried to sneak but failed. ACCM successfully sneaking, and now we have a 1v1 between Persian and Byzantines for the Byzantine lake. Capoch is forced to add a second dock on his own lake, and that's terrible because ACCM can just freely develop on his own lake, go for another extra lake here to get even more resources, and meanwhile Capoch is at risk of losing his fish. A second dock for ACCM. This is terrible for Capoch. Because as I said, the Persians can try to make more fire galleys. If he drops a good demolition ship, things can also be good. Anyway, but Capoch is going for a second lake, which is good. A good demolition drop, and there we go. The fight is for ACCM. ACCM is getting the lake from this lake from Capoch. He's losing his fish. Uh-oh. Capoch is trying to go for this lake and failed. He's going for the upper lake, but, well, he only has the upper lake available. Making a stable. Going for castle age. But this is truly bad. What's going to happen here? Capoch is going to castle. He's trying to retake his lake. ACCM, meanwhile, is freely using 2 lakes. He has the spearmen and galleys patrolling this. He's trying to contest the top lake, and he seems to be in a very comfortable position. ACCM seems to be in a comfortable position, and oh my goodness, ACCM. Well, ACCM, yes, has learned how to play the sneak. Bru, olha isso aqui, cara. Tô lançando moda. Olha o que tá acontecendo aqui, cara. Olha o maluco sneakando o capote aqui, ó. Que gostoso, né, cara? Essa você pode pôr da minha conta. And ACCM, who still had a villager here, guys, used his villager to start crossbowmen, now going for camels, totally surprising Capoch. This is amazing. Ooh. But Capoch is winning the top lake. He got back the bottom lake, so it's 2 lake for each player. Capoch is even going for forward siege to counter ACCM, but ACCM has the advantage of being on his enemy's land, denying his golds. Capoch is trying to go for this gold. He successfully makes a TC. 3 TCs, 4 TCs for Capoch. A good job, but he's losing the top lake. Moving Reveille, being able to counter, but not so much. ACCM is also not a bad boomer. He already has more economical units than Capoch. Capoch adding a lot of stables. Ooh! What a castle by ACCM, guys. This is a beautiful castle, and I will tell you why. This castle is just here, right in front of those 3 stables, and this totally denies Capoch the chance of using them. This castle would eventually deny 6 farms, start to harass the units that came out of the stables, and eventually kill the stables. ACCM was already switching here to halberdiers, to pikemen, sorry, and he could play with pikemen, later switching back to I don't know, maybe cavaliers if you wanted. But that was a very good game. Good sneak by ACCM. Well, ACCM, you took the note. You did good. And let's go now for the decider. Game number 5. It's Italian versus Japanese. It can only be on Mediterranean. And I would say that part of Mediterranean, like half of Mediterranean, is whoever controls the water on the early game gets the advantage. That's how Capoch beat me on High Tide. Similar story. It's a water map. If you win the water early on, game is yours. Let's see what ACCM will try to do here. If you fight in the water, if you try to make an hybrid play like going for men-at-arms, later water. But honestly, the best approach if you can in any map like this is go for double dock, go for the dock, make a second dock to make sure you win the water. If your enemy tries to go and attack you on the land, try to wall him off, counter and defend for a while with skirmishers, archers, or whatever you need, and abuse the fact that you are controlling the water to make a massive amount of fishes to increase your eco's potential. That's the call. Solid build here for Capoch, solid build for ACCM, second dock for ACCM, second dock for Capoch. Actually, excellent build for ACCM. He even had like 4. Oh no. Guys, I have to say that this map was quite wrong. ACCM it even have more fishing ship, but look at the distance of the fish for Capoch. The fish is very close to his dock. He has 1, 2, 3 fishes very close to his dock. Now look for ACCM. He has 3 docks and the fishes are so far away from the docks, which is terrible. So that's very bad. Very, very bad, guys. Some small trade. 3 docks for each player. Capoch walling, even added an outpost. Even added an outpost in the back. Beautiful. Big fight here. Ooh! Oh no, man. Oh no. Guys, look at this, man. I think that ACCM wouldn't have done it. It's this 3rd game of the series that I see a sneak happening, and ACCM tried to sneak Capoch, but after getting beat to sneaks twice, he now added so many outposts that he was able to see that there was a view there. He knows there's a view there. He knows, right? What the fuck? Pendejo, pendejito. How you don't know about that? You made the outpost, pendejo. Oh no! Ah. Man, ACCM got himself in a good position, but he was losing the water. But look how smart ACCM is. He kept fighting for the water. Capoch thinks he's winning, but now immediately he drops the barracks. He's not going for a market. He's not going to say, I'm ahead and so on. No. This time he learned the lesson. Blacksmith, barracks. He also has a stable behind of ACCM. Everyone is the sneaker now, huh? Everyone sneaks each other. Now that I did, everyone can do it. Oh, Stark did it. Everyone can do this shit. What the fuck, man? You see, guys, I think that I just brought a more cancer strategy to Age of Empires than Huang. Now everyone is sneaking. ACCM is sneaking the previous game. Capoch tries sneaking game 3. On this game, both players are sneaking each other. But this is probably Capoch's game because he has the water. So he can just overboom fishes here, mass lots of knights and pressure the enemy while also defending with small number of knights. That one was on me, guys. That one was on me, Mr. Sniper. Ooh. Good ratings here by Capoch. ACCM is struggling to defend, trying to add a monastery, but then Capoch just needs to add a siege workshop here. Capoch defending without much trouble here, since he has +2 knights. Controls the water, drops the siege, GG. Well played. I think that from now on, ACCM can try to bite himself some time, but he will hardly survive that, especially knowing that how much Capoch is booming on the water. Yeah, ACCM will hardly survive that. He can buy himself more time though. Ooh. Not bad. Really no chance. If you lose the water, by the time that ACCM lost the water, Capoch knew that he would be ahead, and different from maps like the one I played like Bay, where you only have like 8 fish, there's plenty of fish here for Capoch to exploit, and he did it. And he did it in a proper way, which means that he now had the advantage